We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome to another quick black chat. I am your host, Kushite Selassie. As we wait for our host, we'll be playing. We'll be playing some music given to us by our local artists. Until our guests come in, we'll have words from our local artist.
Don't forgive them Rastafari, cause them know exactly what them do. And fight against them that fight against I and I. If them never did know what them do, I would have forgive them Rastafari. If they never fight against I wouldn't fight against them. And now it's judgment. Blessed Barack Boston. Certain ways not be wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter man. Certain ways not be wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter. No one's there. I got sentenced to death. It's only I and I. That's why I burn inside. No one cares. I saw my grandpapa said. But when I look around, it's clear to see just who you are to me. Certain ways not be wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter man. Certain ways not be wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter. Oh no no no, never trust them. Who them? Never lost them. Them heart it not pretty, it disgusting. I cite the system and how them do them thing. You know they corrupt in the world, don't you see it? Fire flames, I chant from the ghetto heartbeat. Everywhere me look and no peace. And even the youths can't find food to eat. Certain ways not the wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter man. Certain ways not the wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter. More time I vex, 1 killer 10,000. Chuck them in a body bag and get them frozen. I heard the word that they've spoken. They both devour Rastafari and the Zulu spear them. Gunshot and a King David sword them. Tie some lead and jump overboard them. This Rastafari hope the whole of them know them. It's not the way Rasta chosen. Certain way of the wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter man. Certain way of the wise man. Gun coulda never kill a great man. Deceive and you lie and you fake man. You wasn't there when I was down in the gutter. No one's there. I got sentenced to death. It's only I and I. That's why I burn inside. No one cares.
Yes. Tonight's show is gonna be a free flow, quick black. It's gonna be just a chat. It's an open, basically no. Matter of fact, here's how we're gonna do it. This is gonna be an open discussion. This is gonna be for anybody who would like to call in and anybody who would like to speak on the topic. And the topic is ways to better the Rastafari movement. Anybody who wants to come in and anybody who would like to call in and give their piece on it, please feel free to call in. Please feel free to call in to the Kushite Selassie channel. The number is on the screen as it will be on the screen. Please feel free to call in and tell us what do you feel can be done to improve the Rastafari movement. For we are in a state of we stuck, y'all. For lack of a better word, we stuck. For real though, it's like we're not elevating anymore. We're not trying to push the agenda in which our elders set forth for us. So how do we get back on track? The lines are open. Anybody who feel like they wanna weigh in on this conversation, please feel free. This is Quick Black Chat. And while we wait on our respected guests, we'll be sitting here vibing to some music until then. This is Quick Black Chat with Kushite Selassie.
Range, yeah, yeah, go. It's only through the mighty full powers of the Most High. Selassie, Rastafari. The practical man tried the street, he tried the ways to Rastafari. Tell them, sir, be who you wanna be, see who you wanna see. Judge yourself, check yourself, so don't ask me. Greatest thing in this life is to be free. Don't run from yourself, it is not wise. In his or her eyes, she's right. Yeah, as long as you don't fight against flesh and blood, the judgment has reached all the hearts of man. I no need to take no beam out your eye, cause there could be logs in a mind. I no judge, son, no budge off your line. You is a free man, so check your own mind. You is a free woman, so check if you divine. So in the beginning to the heights of time, I have follow nothing but the wise mind. Leader, I am who I am, and nobody could ever try change me. I'll be who I be, and none of you can rearrange me. It's only through the mighty full powers of the Most High. Selassie, I, the practical man tried the street, he tried the ways to Rastafari. Open our eyes, what do I see? Only reality in front of me. I want a God that is practical to see. I want him come in the house and drink ganja tea. I want him explain and burn mystery. I want him trample religion and misery. I want him take government and show me that them world leaders they attack beer. Oh yeah, come deliver me from these talkers what try to change me. Serpents and governments and men of low degree. Tell life and distraction can't take hold of me. Humble thyself and listen when the elders speak. Yeah, so joy when we greet. Nothing is new under the sun, don't you see it? So I serve and set your mind free. I am who I am, and nobody could ever try change me. I'll be who I be, and none of you can rearrange me.
Yes. Music brought to us by Rastafari Global Councils. I am who I am. Yes. Powerful song. Bless up, Elder. What you do? How you doing?
Rastafari, I'm good, I'm good. The fair cool.
Bless, bless,
I'm good.
bless.
And how are you doing? How's the family?
All's good, man.
Alright,
I'll make
that's
sure
all.
let me make sure nothing interrupts the stream. I don't want to have too much up because it might kick me out. All right. Now, ways to improve. The topic of tonight's quick black chat is ways to improve the Rastafari movement. How can we get out of this state of stagnanticity? If that's even a word. Yes. We need to get out of this rut that we're in because it seems like the movement is not doing anything anymore. It seems like we're just reaching what Google already put forth to the world. And we're just continuing the Google translation of what a Rasta is. It basically become what Christianity has become. Because Christianity is boiled down to basically God good, devil bad, yay Jesus. It's like Rasta is boiled down to the same thing. White Jesus bad, black Jesus good, yay Selassie. That's how it seems like it boiled down to it now, to the point that it's almost can be taken for a joke. So, Elder, what are your
Yeah, you broke up for a bit there. You still there? Some By that disconnect for. Well, yes, I think I got the sense of the question. Um, we forward in Rastafari. Rastafari has fallen victim to the
Sorry about that. I got kicked out.
yeah, I
The
realize
reception
that.
on our end is bad. This is why we're asking people, please donate to the Kushite Selassie channel at the Cash App God Beetle for us to get better reception, so we can have better quality shows, so we can bring out better quality shows. But as I was saying to the elder, what do you feel can we do to get the Rastafari movement out of this rut? I'm letting the elder have the floor.
Well, I was saying that the reason why we in this rut in the first place is because we have embraced more the spirituality of Rastafari and less of the social responsibility of Rastafari, which is to bring about an awareness of our current circumstances and the effort that we need to put in unity and in different industries like farming, and creating cooperatives and coming together so we can ensure our survival. Um, the movement, the movement incorporates repatriation and reparation. And for some time, there has been um, a distance between Rastafari and repatriation. Reparations is something else. But I'm talking about that connection with the continent.
Right.
If that idea of reconnecting to Africa, both spiritually and physically, or either, then there would be more um, demonstrating, more public awareness of the need for us in the diaspora to unite with the brothers and sisters on the continent, because that has been the whole aim, to separate the Africans in the West from the Africans on the continent, because it was
Facts.
the Africans in the West, especially the Caribbean, that fueled Pan-Africanism. And a lot of the information that we are privy to in the West is just about right now revealing itself to the brothers and sisters on the continent, and we can see their growth. You know, so we need to more align ourselves with our the Afrocentricity of our reality, and not cling to the biblical narrative, which is really uh, a box system of religion, to keep you in an expectation of a coming savior, whereas Heru is plurality. So we all have to become that um, Christ consciousness, so we can elevate our families and our people, because the the chain is as strong as its weakest link. So we all have to try to have good families, solid families, and then the families themselves would be part of the movement, the strong force behind the movement.
Right.
So yeah, so we have a lot of things plaguing us. We still have the struggle of the patriarchal system that a lot of these sisters are getting disenfranchised with, and they're realizing that they're they can do more and they can contribute more if the fetters of patriarchy are taken from around them. So we have these little things in Rastafari that we of course have to outgrow.
Mm.
It's not that we're beating down Rastafari, but in everything there is, like as I was saying, the Dikenga, that everything must has a birth, it has a maturity, and it has a death and a transformation. And the Rastafari has not reached its midday sun yet. Rastafari is still in its Kepra stage of becoming. Bless.
Aha.
Mhm.
True. Bless up,
Yes, yes,
everyone.
yes.
Greetings.
Yeah, Hetepu
Sister
Empress.
Nigus, bless up. And by risking of getting kicked out, I'm gonna ask this question right quick before I get before y'all StreamYard kick me out on some on that bull. Um,
I don't
I'm
think
glad,
so.
Nigus, I'm glad you're here because this could be something asked from a female's perspective too. With the fact that this new age feminist movement is basically slowly creeping its way into the black consciousness movement. A lot of black women are taking on this so-called this feminist mentality. How do you feel that may counteract the interest of black women within Rastafari? Because really feminism wasn't really something that the feminist movement wasn't really something that was intended for the black woman, because during those times the black woman was not seen as lesser in the household as it is in the white man's household. Back in those days, the black woman had a role of authority, had a just as much role of authority as the man. So,
Right, right.
with these feminism thoughts coming into Rastafari, how do you feel that may counteract, or do you think it may improve the Rastafari movement when it comes from the female aspect? Either one of y'all can answer that.
Let the sister answer.
Well, I feel like I don't think it's necessarily like a new age thing. I think that people are waking up and being enlightened in their own special way, and they're realizing that with these dogmas and doctrines, they're not able to expand the way they would like to expand. You know what I'm saying? So the salvation
Right.
prod is very good and it feels nice and it feels good. But when you're sitting back and you're like, you're sitting back and you're rewinding your life saying, hey, I remember when I was 11, I said that I wanted to be a chemist because I wanted to make sure that the right product, the right chemicals are going into products, blah, blah, blah. And you carry this thought in your mind all the way up until you're grown, but somehow down the line, you ended up on a Rastafari trail, and now you're not really able to express that because if you're Bobo Shanti, there's that 21-day principle, and then the
Right.
patriarch mindset kicks in, of course. So it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. A woman can't do this, a woman can't do that. What if she was a natural professional African drummer or African dancer? She can't be that drummer or dancer because Rastafari restricts women from playing drums. So a lot of women are starting to tap into their own power,
Mm,
and they're realizing that these dogmas and doctrines just ain't getting it no more. And then when you read the Bible ain't really saying nothing delightful about women. You know what I'm saying? Especially, if you look at it from a Leviticus point of view. So yeah, it's like so many layers to this, to the reason why you'll see a lot of women taking on a strong direction. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Taking on a strong direction,
Powerful.
the direction that they want to take. You know what I'm saying? The talent and
Right.
skills that they always had embedded, and they wanted to express it. They starting to see that now. Some are and some aren't. Some are
Right.
still where they are, and I just think that it is not meant for everybody to wake up. We want to wake up everybody, but we can't. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Some women will be contented with that type of liberty. You know what I'm saying? They find ways to convince themselves to adjust to it, and they do. Do I think that that's necessarily wise? No, because then That's when that mental, you would think they got a mental illness, such type of thing coming on, because now you're fighting against yourself. You know what I mean? Because I've heard a sister say on one of the live streams that she sees like signs of, she called it mental illness. I probably wouldn't have said mental illness. I probably would have said something like you actually see signs of of the appreciation of yourself. So you're giving up yourself to be a part of something that's more matriarch than it is patriarch. So that will do something to your psyche, that will take you outside of your natural mindset. So I do see that happening to a lot of ones as well, you know. But that question, like I said, it has a lot of layers to it, and it's basically up to that individual and what time frame and what process of awakening that they're going through, because people wake up on different levels. What you see 4 years ago, you're probably not going to see it 4 years in front of you. You may have a different perspective about it, but I do know one thing: time will tell the tale over time. If you don't see change or a new direction, then you're just going to keep seeing the same results, because it's all up to the individual at the end of the day. But a lot of these women is realizing like, hey, I could be more than what I'm told I could be. I could do more than what I told I can do. Now, I'm not talking about a woman being a
Facts.
construction worker. I'm not saying like outside of the woman guidelines, you know what I'm saying? So-called guidelines. I'm not talking that extreme. I'm just
Facts.
saying, like, there's a lot of Rasta women that I feel, you know what I'm saying? The ones that's even up in their elder age, they wanted to do more and didn't do more because doctrine and dogma prevented it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you're living on Bobo Hill, for instance, and you want to be, let's just say, a lawyer, you're going to have to live off the camp to do that, because 21 days of your life, you're in the journey gates. You're only free 7 days. So when can you go to school to be a lawyer? So now you come off Bobo Hill, and you still want to hold on to the teachers and the culture. You're still not able to do that, because you're trying to hold on to a teaching and a culture that kind of, like, I wouldn't say prohibits, because the way Emmanuel is a little bit more prosperous than what we think. You know what I'm saying? He was a little bit more prosperous
Mm-hmm.
in his thinking than what we give him credit for, or what we see in front of us, I should say. Like him just wanting the 7 lawyer priest. That right there showed me what levels of reasoning he was on. He understood they had to go to school. But the ones that take on the culture don't see it like that. They start thinking that if I do it this way, I have my salvation. If I do it that way, I'm a part of this. I'm a part of Babylon. If I do it this way, I know I'm doing the right thing because the Bible said so. But if I do it that way, I'm going against what I'm supposed to do. So, it's just all about the individual that's ready to grow. You know what I mean? That's ready to take their own personal salvation to the next level. And that's expressing who you really are. And a lot of times we can't do what we want to do. Not that
Right.
it's a bad thing that what we're trying to do and is being banded. It's just, the whole concept of, because the Bible said it, I'm not able to do it. Because the Bible said it, that women is this or women is that. I'm not doing it. And those type of books, that's what I'm saying. So reading that hundreds and hundreds of years, look what they've done to our psyche. Look how now we have mansions that is basically looking at that, the woman in that perspective. Maybe not directly, but indirectly it's definitely happening. You even have some people
True.
thinking like, if you're not from any mansion that, or a particular mansion, that you're not really Rasta, if you're not hailing up Emmanuel, if you're not you know, giving Isis to Emmanuel every morning, you know what I'm saying? Saying his name in your prayer every day, then you're not considered a true Bobo. So it's all about the indoctrination process. That's what it is. It's an indoctrination process. How deep is your indoctrination process? Some go so deep that yeah, they'll spend 50 years of their life looking for a salvation, like how Christians wait for Jesus. You know what I'm saying? People will do that. That's my intake on it. I don't know if Wsir have something he wants to say to add on to that or take away from that, but I think that the dogma and doctrine is the reason why the women
Yeah.
wasn't truly recognized in her highest power in Rastafari.
Well,
I strongly believe that.
what? Well, you see, with I know the Rastafari in the Bobo camp. Um, Men stay away from their women like for 21 days in a month, and I know a lot of sisters. I think a lot of sisters hold that space better
Hmm.
than better than the brothers inside the camp.
Hmm.
So you end up the a lot of the Bobo brethren having other women, and I see that kind of setup as more polygamy,
Hmm.
like one king having many empresses, more than one wife. And so if you stay in 21 days from your woman every month, then I can understand that kind of system in that kind of setup, a
Hmm.
polygamous setup.
Right.
But in a setup of one man, one woman, it it's a hard thing to work in this day and age. So you
I'm
get a
sorry, I'm
lot
not staying
of
away from my woman for no certain amount of days. That's crazy to
yeah
me.
21 days in a month.
Yeah, but
I'm not doing
if
that.
you're trying to follow a doctrine, you're going to condition yourself over time to see that that's a reality. You're going to make that your reality, and that's what's
Hey,
happening here. They're
yeah,
making
but
that their
every
reality.
woman every woman's cycle ain't the same though. I mean, a lot of women have monthly cycles and stuff. So as a man, why would you not want to be there during that pain? I mean, I know a lot of women get cramps and stuff. Why would you not want to be there?
Well, you see, it's set up that they go into a house with other women to care for them. Now this is not just a new thing. This is a old thing that's been practiced.
Hmm.
Because
You know.
Leviticus said that is when she's bleeding, she is polluted
Yeah, she's unclean.
according to Leviticus. But if you read about other traditions in Africa and outside of Africa, the Native Americans in Africa, certain tribes in Africa, they didn't look at it as a pollution or being toxic or dirty.
No.
Those were
Our
the times,
system.
huh?
I was saying our system was more logical. All these things came from a system where women were disliked because men realized that women had a certain power over them, so they were feared and disliked, especially in the ice in Europe.
Yes.
Yeah. There were times when they had to
What?
be forced by the law to get married because they loved loose women, they loved prostitutes, and they also loved young boys.
Mm,
So the kind of love you get in Africa between a man and a woman, it's a different kind of love. So you have to look at the word mare in Kemet meant love, and the symbol for mare was a plowshare or a hoe, and that symbolizes cultivation. So you and someone else come together. It has to do with you coming together for the betterment of the community. But in the West, you have a kind of love where you would destroy the community to keep your love. You know? It's a whole
That's crazy.
Western European, of a little angel shooting you with an arrow and unexpectedly, unknowingly, you're in love.
Yeah, the naked baby. What they call him, Cupid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can see a whole different kind of aspect of love when it comes to between a man and a woman. Because if you look at the Renaissance period was when women got the rights to vote and go to school.
Right.
You know. So a lot has happened. The beginning of birth control and women now what they call prolonged adolescence. Because you had now to be trained to be fit into the industrial world, and women now before you could have had children at 14, 15, because the young women were mature and they were initiation rights that at that age they would already have a responsibility, for in the society. But right now in the world we
Mm.
live in, we have no responsibilities. What we have to get
No.
is a job. And once you get in a job and you're making money, you don't really have responsibility beyond paying taxes. So it's a whole
True.
different world we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for us to
Yeah.
adjust, that is where the problem is. And some use the Bible to adjust to a world like this. But when you go beyond the Bible into the African consciousness, then you'll have that more communal or collective versus individualistic living. And Rastafari
Okay.
has proclaimed that kind of living, but due to the individualism of the Bible, that is breaking apart.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm gonna comment on what Big Brother Congo got just put. Is marriage really over? Is black women does the modern black woman now worry about money more than to validate what love is? I'm not talking about all women. I'm talking about like what we know as the average everyday black woman
Well, I think
in the
for uh,
mindset that we're in today.
yeah. Well, our society is ruled by because we are communal people, and our society is ruled by the standards
Consumerism.
set, the standards set, the collective standards set by society. You know, so that what really guides the youth, and so you'll see the youth now going towards that thing. You'll hear them saying like, money, love can't buy nothing in the supermarket. You know, and you're
Right.
seeing more the shift into the materialistic point of view that is more Eurocentric. And so it has to do with money and what you have, because it's a predatory society. The men want the women what's under the skirt, and the women want what's in their pocket.
Right.
So as we lose that spiritual sense, that divine sense, we sink back to our primal natures of the men being violent, and violence now becomes a kind of a sign of masculinity, and women, their sensuality becomes their essence. So we see we going back to a primal state of being right now. You know? That's why different organizations, different groups like Rastafari play a pivotal role in initiating the youth to understand the cosmic power that rages inside of them and how to control it, how to balance it, and not get lost and caught up in it. But
Yes, 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 yes.
marriage, I think you'll have marriage because we black people, we still believe in love and the responsibility of it. A lot of us, even a lot of the church goers too, you know, we believe in that divine union between a man and a woman. But it's just that right now it's leaning more to on a materialistic level, less than a pan-African, you know, going back to your origins kind of level, because that is the kind of levels people supposed to be binding themselves under. The banners of communalism and, knowing your history, your culture, but it's more right now of a fairy tale, thinking it will be a happily ever after, and a lot of people get disappointed. But marriage, love really is cultivation. You know?
Right, right. Well said. Well said. Now, I'm gonna take the conversation left right quick. All right, so everybody buckle your seatbelts just in case I get kicked out.
Oh wow.
All right, everybody got the seatbelts buckled? All right. With the way that public schools are going in America, to the point that now it's going to, whether we like it or not, they're going to be teaching our babies at a preschool and kindergarten level about transgenders, homosexuals, and all that stuff, and all the different forms of sexes and stuff. Is with that come into play? Is homeschooling more important now than ever for us as Rastafari, especially living in the West?
Of course. Of course. Anywhere, living anywhere on planet Earth, melanated people, we need to take control of our educational system. Of course. That's been missing for decades now, and that's some of the problem that we're having with our youth because they don't know who they are and where they come from. Everything is looking from a
Mm-hmm.
European lens. Everything is European. European did this, European did that, from what they know, because that's what's all being presented. And the Black History Month can't help. It helps, but it doesn't help enough because it's the same people that they keep presenting for Black history and not really coming forth with the Black
Black History
historians
Month is a joke,
that they
man.
should know about. Like Dr. John Hendrik Clark. They wouldn't read about him in their history books, but they'll read about Christopher Columbus. They'll lie about him and want us to believe that, but won't let us believe people who was real and had true scholarship. So I think homeschooling is a great thing, regardless.
Yes, teach them at home first.
Some kind of private setting, or if you have like a homeschool center where X amount of families have their children going there, you know what I'm saying? Little settings like that. Because now you're controlling the curriculum. We just got to start controlling our curriculum. And if you're not going to tell them about it in the household, when they go to school, they're not going. You're supposed to know in school they ain't going to get it because you didn't get it. So that's the first thing comes to a parent mind. I know I didn't learn it, so I know I have to make sure I teach my child what I didn't know. And that's so easy to
Uh,
say, but hard to do because parents be busy. They caught up in their own life and working and paying bills. I get all of that, but there's 2 hours in the day that you can take out to enforce that, and you'll be surprised. Not even if you can't do 2 hours, that may be too long. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, you'll be surprised doing that. The small minutes every day, how much your child will learn. Then they'll be researching on their own. They'll be educating themselves through the social media and YouTube. So you just got to get them started for a couple of months. And eventually, once they get used to it and start liking it, give it to them in their age group form. You know how Priest Isaac has those programs, the homeschool program and things like that. And
Exactly.
grown people could even take his courses. That's just how, easy it is to follow that a child or a grown up could actually take the course and learn on the same way in the same way.
Right. I'd like
You
to take
know?
the time to give a shout out to to the Honorable Priest Isaac in Radio Anu and the holistic in his holistic college. For y'all, for anybody who is interested in trying to get their kids out of the school system, you want to start teaching your kids first, giving your kids some kind of culture, some kind of grounding before you send them out there, and some kind of you want to send them out there with some kind of shield from this crazy ass beast teaching. Yeah, not beast teaching, beast teachings. Excuse me, y'all. So please hit up Priest Isaac for his homeschooling for the babies. Please hit up Priest Isaac for the homeschooling of the babies. Please, please.
Yes,
Just giving a shout out right quick. Got to give credit where credit is due.
yeah, man.
Always got to give credit. Always got to show love to all my past guests. Speaking of past guests, I'm glad that the elder from White Lotus Temple is here with us. I appreciate you for please coming on. I'm glad the stream is still going real well. Usually this is when things get kicked out, but I guess the energy is with us tonight. Please, anybody who is watching, feel free to call in and give us your thoughts on the conversation. Ways to improve the Rastafari movement, the ways to get us out of the rut, the stagnanticity, and ways that we can better ourselves. And it always starts with the self. So if you want to, you can call in and talk about ways you've improved yourself. Maybe those who are listening can take your experience and better themselves. Please, the number is 843-954-2724. Please call in. This is Quick Black Chat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your sound is starting to act up again.
yeah, the teachings is very important. You know, that's I think one of the obstacles in Rastafari when it comes to teaching and expressing themselves within a factual historical context,
Hmm.
and not going into a abstract or a mythic, revelations, and having it on a historical levels.
Yeah.
Because remember, in schools we have history, we have biology, and then we have religious knowledge.
Right.
And religious knowledge would give us an alternate history. You know?
Hmm. And it's always up to us to always want to self-educate because education don't start or stop in the school. When you leave school, you still have to go home and do homework most of the time, or you're just doing some extra reading, or practicing for your spelling tests, practicing your multiplication tables. If it's a history test you have coming up, you're studying that part of history. The technology is so more advanced nowadays that you can get the fake version and the real version, and now you are educated because you have knowledge on both sides. You don't have the truth and the lies all mixed up, and now you're following something that's never going to benefit you the way you're reading it to be. So yeah, we have to
Facts.
take back control. The school system, brethren, we got to get our economics together. We need infrastructure because we talk about the school, yes, but we need a building for it. You understand? And we like decades behind and not having these
You hear
schools
that, big brother Umar?
without having these schools already in place. And this ain't even towards Dr. Umar because what Dr. Umar is doing, I would call is a special project, and it takes special time, needs, and attention to make it manifest the way his perspective is for it. So he's gonna have a different time
Mm-hmm.
limit altogether. If I was to put together a homeschool, my time limit would be different too, because I'll be trying to incorporate things that's going to help the black person beyond measures. You know what I'm saying? I'll be trying to overextend my services.
Right.
So, versus just putting your child in school and they're just going to get a basic whatever. You know what I mean? So I look at his situation like that. I try not to get too caught up in the politics with him behind that whole school
Right.
drama, but the mere fact that his vision does not really fit the particular person who's trying to start a school's vision. And we should have schools like that already. That's what I'm saying. We're decades behind. These things are supposed to already be in
Right.
place. 7 lawyer priests, the schools, the infrastructure, our economics. We got a lot of people like Blessed Barack was saying the other night that there's a lot of ones that's Rastafari that have 2 and 3 PhDs and degrees. And that's beautiful because now we have the academic side of Rastafari that can push the administration things forward that the Ras that's chilling in the mountain doesn't do. You know what I'm saying? Or the city Ras doesn't do. So we have those educated
Right.
ones doing it, but we still decades behind in the same things I keep naming: infrastructure, economics, and we definitely lack in unity. So with
Yeah.
all these PhDs and degrees, with all the warrior skills and mindset, and we all from different geographic locations, we still don't have these institutions in place. We don't have them in place. I don't understand what it's going to
Right.
take us to do this. Marcus Garvey showed us. He had what, 3 newspapers in 3 different languages: English, French, and Spanish. He, had the Black Horse nurses. He would employed over 1,000 people. They were getting paid every week. So the monies was coming in. So that was the greatest part that we supposed to been really taking on it and actually putting it into real time instead of just always holding the eyes on this earth thing, which is great. Should do that.
Right.
Well,
But when it
that
came
is
to
the
the action, there was no action, brethren, in my opinion.
well,
It's just the crazy.
that is the great struggle, you know. The great struggle is, you see, when we have to be realistic, that the students have exams to sit, and these exams are coming from a certain set of people, and they have to be well versed in the information to get their degrees, get their PhDs and their masters. So, by all means, they would need to learn the Eurocentric information.
Exactly.
This is why it's important for
That's right.
building Africa as a brand, and so it would change the world dynamics. Pretty soon, you may never know, in the next 50 years or 100 years, the earth we might have to be writing and speaking Chinese, and we
Hmm.
might need to learn their history. But it's different because the Chinese were never set out to conquer and rule the world. Africans never set out to conquer and rule. The only one people that set out to conquer
What
the
about the
world.
Mongolians?
No, the Mongolians wasn't trying to take over the world.
What about the Arab?
Genghis Khan?
Genghis
He
Khan,
was
the
trying to take
Arab.
over. Well, not the world, but he was trying to take over a big part of Asia.
And what about the Arabs in Africa?
Well, it's true. The Arabs as well.
They come before the European, right?
Yeah.
No.
Now what? No, I wouldn't take that. Hold on, let me take that back. Genghis Khan wasn't trying to take over the world, but he did. But he did rule the steppe without a doubt. He did rule the steppe.
It's true. Yeah. But you see because remember the Europeans took over 5 continents in
Hold on for a minute,
500.
Elder.
Yeah, the sound is
David,
really
I see you trying to get in, my G, but I'm kind of scared to add you in because it might mess up the stream.
and your sound is cracking up too. It's like I'm hearing some mumbling in the background.
Nah, see that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Nah, that's not on my end. Okay, how's everything now?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's just that
Yeah, I can hear
we
everything good.
it's just saying it's not clear like it was in the beginning. And it's just the you know how your reception is.
He was coming in, but I kick him out.
Yeah, because of the broad bandwidth, it's not strong enough. That's why I keep my camera off because I know that's gonna pull on it. I turn off the camera
Mm, let me see.
All right,
most
how about
times.
now?
Or I still hear it. I don't know where it's coming from though.
Oh crap. How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, my fault. I have my phone. I have my phone charged until the laptop charging, and I forgot that makes a noise over the mic. I'm sorry.
Mhm. Okay, good.
My bad. My bad, David. Yeah, I was trying to add a I was trying to see if I could bring a commercial. I was trying to see if I could bring a commercial in, but I don't have to. I don't have to be. But it's gonna make all that noise if I try to link it to the computer. So I'm just gonna email it to myself. I'm just gonna email it to myself.
Yeah, commercial will be good.
Right. Why y'all wait on me? Why y'all do that? Let's see. Let me see what I can throw out there. Quick question. Quick question. Quick question. Um.
I think Wsir got dropped off, right?
Hmm?
Wsir got dropped off, right? The line dropped him.
No, he's still
No,
here.
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Oh, okay. I thought that was, that
Yeah.
David was on.
Yeah, but I was saying I
Yeah.
remember
I mean,
saying
yeah. I mean, yeah. I thought because David was on, well, making that no, well, making that noise. So I kicked him out,
But that's
but it
coming from
turns out
your
it was
side.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it turns out it was me. So David, if you can, please, you can come back in you can come back in the background, please. It's not my fault.
yeah,
That's
so
what God.
I was saying that along with the curriculum in the schools, we should have an Africanization method, a mechanism at home, an altar, books, so that
Right.
we can introduce the youths to their culture. Because if we rely on the schools will only give them what it gave us. So we have
The
to think of
gentrified bull crap.
yeah, we have to if we're teaching them at home, we have to get the syllabus and we have to teach them what they need to know to sit those exams. Of course, give it the African perspective,
Hmm.
you know. But if we don't know, we don't expect them to. So we have to start reading. The parents have to start reading, or like for instance, I have a class teaching online to some students, and being that it's a school setting, and in the Caribbean, in my island specifically, St. Lucia, it's like
Mhm.
95% African people, or 90% African people. But in the
Right.
classroom, you'll have Indians, you'll have Africans, you may have Chinese, and you may have Europeans in that classroom setting. So, how do you teach in such a setting? You cannot be biased, but you just have to be truthful to history, you know?
Facts.
So, I you cannot break down uh, young European or Indian child because of what you believe in or the tradition in life you're following. You just have to give the truth as it is. You know? So in teaching, you get a angle to teach at, and that's by just sticking to the truth.
Yeah, but
Unless
we
you're
just got to
teaching
catch
only
up.
African people.
We got to catch up with the past because it seems like the past was more intelligent and more progressive than we are. And they were in such trying times that is embarrassed to say right now with no technology. KKK right there in your face on your doorstep. All opportunity and odds against you.
Mhm.
And look at us now. We fast forward to where we are now with these things in place, brethren, you know? But it seems like we can't get that mentality, that slave mentality out of us.
Yeah.
And I'm not like saying us
For real.
three right now, just in generally speaking, can't get it out of them.
Now just
And
after slavery.
Rastafari is picking on has those traits is doing it too, but in a Rastafari type of way. You know what I mean? In a different conscious type of way. That thing still keeps expressing itself. That Willie Lynch syndrome still keeps expressing itself. One way or the other. Either we can't come together and make the economic thing a reality. We can't come together for a medical center. We can't come together for a proper homeschool. We can't come together to have 7 lawyer priests go to law school. We can't come together for those simplistic things right there. So we just keep going around and around and around in the same circle with no exit out. No way in, no exit out. It's just the same circle, different generation, a new one to pick up the same sediment. I'm getting tired of seeing that. That's why as I can't, honestly say I'm affiliated to any of the houses or any councils because, you know, it takes a special type of energy to make certain things go on, President. You can't have a mixed up, washed up energy. Because when you have that in place, the plan won't work out. Somebody's gonna
Right.
somebody's gonna expose something or somebody's gonna say something or do something. It's not gonna function right. So trying to find that right energy is definitely hard to find. You can have 1,000 people gather, and they're more weaker than 10 people gathering. I'm talking about like that. So you got all
Right.
these great minds together, but the great minds are fighting each other. They don't even realize they're practicing that slave mentality all over again. Because we have too much, we know too much right by now for us to be in the predicament that we're in.
Right. So, do you believe that's why there's so? Would you believe that's why there's so many freelance rosters because they feel the same way you do?
Yeah, basically they may have, some other different reasons than mine, but mine is just general observation and seeing like this is not really benefiting us as a collective because of religion, of course. We don't have the economic mindset like Marcus Garvey, but we give credit to him all day and night instead of giving credit to ourselves to do exactly what he did and even double of what he did.
And a
I
lot of
just
us
know
too
that
scared to do what Leonard Howard
that's what
did.
I'm saying. And it's like we can't come together under those realms because of the mentality of the transatlantic slave trade. That syndrome is real. I always go back to that. A lot of people don't want to go back to that because they feel because I guess their conscience or their Rastafari that don't apply to them anymore. That they're redeemed from it, but the behavior is no different.
Right.
There's a lot.
So here's the next
Rastafari is all over the planet, Bridget.
job. So here's the next question. Do you believe nowadays it will be easier to hold down a place like Pinnacle nowadays? Cause things were actually with the way with how easy it is to put pipes together. I mean, I know we're supposed to be against plastic, but PVC pipes is cheap and it comes in handy and it's a good way to get water from
Oh yeah,
it's a cheap way to get water from one distance to another. So, and I mean, I'm speaking from a handyman's point of view. PVC pipe
yeah.
is a easy and cheap way to get water from one place to another.
Check your reception because we're hearing that muffles in the background.
Yeah, for the looks of it, it's coming from hey my aunt, I think it's on your side, Elder.
What side? It's
Yeah,
gone.
I'm muted. I'm muted.
Oh, it's that noise is coming from your side, I think.
Yeah, 'cause I see the sound every time I hear it, it's coming from. I can see the waves coming from around his icon. You know that symbolizes that somebody's talking.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of dope though. Sound like I'm talking on a. It can measure my sound and stuff. That's kind of dope. I'm weird like that. I'm a sucker for detail.
Yeah, it's very sensitive.
Yeah, boom.
It's very sensitive, but at least it's still running with all of that in the background.
For
What was that
real though.
question you said again?
Hmm?
What was the question you asked?
Dang. Oh yeah. Would it be easier nowadays to hold down a place like Pinnacle? To hold down a place like Pinnacle nowadays?
Oh, Pinnacle is a thing, a situation of the past, in my opinion.
No, I'm just saying though. If we were to do something like Leonard Howell again, go somewhere, get some land, like
Hmm.
just buy some land now, just buy up a whole bunch of land and hold it down like they did Pinnacle. Would it be easier to hold it down nowadays?
It should be. You would imagine, yes, because we have more resources and more networking abilities, and you know, the right
For
minds
real.
that come together will have the finances in place. You know, so yeah, I think it could be greater than it was started from the beginning the first time. If someone was to come with that same mentality, but then it still would need to be kept up in the upbringing because see that's what happened to the first one with the water bill and all the little different small, arguments that they had throughout the years that led up to
No,
what it
no,
is
no, no.
now.
That's Scott's past. I'm talking about Pinnacle.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah. You know, before the government came in and ruined what Leonard Howell did.
Hmm.
Could we hold down a place like that?
I mean, we've been trying it throughout the years. We've been doing
Nah,
it.
they've been
We've been
playing.
showing
No,
examples
they've been
of it.
playing because nowadays, because I ain't lying, because I jumped on that Scott. I scopped on that. I jumped on I'm saying it right here live. Hold on, let me get Wiz back in. I'm saying it right. I'm saying it right here live. I jumped on that bandwagon when it came down to that Scott's Pass, that Scott's Pass thing. I jumped on that bandwagon and I got up and I jumped all down the Marley's throats up and down. And that video's still up there because I'm not gonna hide my shame. I
Right.
jumped on that bandwagon to burn them without knowing the full story and stuff. I didn't know they were bullshitting on that land. But when I look back on it and when I see a lot of places, I see a lot of them are just like we're talking right now. They're stagnant. They're not doing anything. They're playing with it.
Yeah, the
I
way
mean, it's
it's
nice to
done.
have a place to chant and gather and all that stuff, but
Yeah, that's true.
why every time why every time we go there, it only look good when y'all doing ceremonies?
Hmm. Yeah. I
I
mean, the
mean,
way it
really
was done,
though. I
I
mean,
don't agree with the way it was done. I think it could have been handled a lot more righteous than how it evolved to.
for
But at
real,
the
it
end of the
shouldn't. We
day,
shouldn't have had to
I'm
run
like
to the white people.
I'm on equal side with it. I understand where they're coming from. Is if it's true that they say the water bill wasn't being paid and they were supposed to do some agriculture so that food could provide be this restaurant that wasn't far from there. if all of that is said to be true,
Yeah, to
then
feed
yeah,
themselves. If not for the
and
restaurant, to
that,
feed their
yeah, but
damn selves.
that was one of the things that's what the farming was supposed to be for. Also to feed themselves, of course, but also to provide for the restaurant that wasn't far from there. So you know what I'm saying, from what we all hear from the radio interviews that her granddaughter or whoever she was daughter did, these little things right here just shows me that throughout the years, like you said, you're playing around, you're not taking it serious. And when you're arguing for so many years, it's going to come to a turning point where someone's going to say, hey, I don't want it. I don't want to be bothered no more. You out of here. I don't care. And that's what's happened. So it's both sides to me. I feel like didn't deal with this right. You can't give me something and then take it back, and then you can't give me
That
something
too.
as a gift and then don't give me no paperwork on it, because this is not you giving me a pair of shoes. This is you giving me land, so I know I need to have paperwork. How come that wasn't presented from the time you said, "Hey, this is land is for you"? You're supposed to have paperwork attached to those words. So it was
Facts.
kind of shaky. They should have saw something wasn't 100% from the beginning, because you never have be on land without having paperwork attached to it. You're just supposed to know that. You don't have to be Rasta to know that.
Facts.
That's the point. So they kind of, slipped on some little things on their behalf. They were supposed to be a little bit more business minded, and they wasn't. They were supposed to be a little bit more united, and they wasn't. And what really ticked the family off to me is when one of the elders said, "You can kick that one off the land because he's not family." That shows the
Mm,
division. That shouldn't come from out of a Rasta elder's mouth. You know what I mean? But
facts.
here we go again with, you know,
Tribalism.
yeah, you see. So that right there happened because over the years, things were going on that we don't know about. We're just hearing small pieces of it. Trust me, I'm sure it's bigger than this. Trust me, it is.
Shit.
It's bigger than
Hell
what
yeah.
we
What,
know.
hell yeah. What Congo said true. If the Mollies didn't take it back, the government would have took the shit.
It's
So
just
yeah.
the way they did it. I don't appreciate the way they did it in the name of Rastafari. They call themselves Rastafari. They should have known they didn't have to deal with that way. Even if they had to go to the law to do it, and they got their lawyers and they
Nah,
said,
they shouldn't have had. It shouldn't even went that far. We don't go to. We don't go to the system to handle our business.
I'm saying even if they had to go to the system versus locking the elders out and putting a lock on the
Hmm.
gate and they can't come in, I would prefer you to take me to court and me and my lawyer and your lawyer could sit down at the round table and we can discuss how we're going to split this property or what y'all want to do. And you give us 6 to 8 months or whatever to move out of it. They didn't give them no time period. It's just the way they did it. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I'm looking at the elders that were there, probably some children was there. You have to be considerate of the bigger picture. But because the energy was so bad throughout the years, they gave up. And Rita's trying to recover from her stroke. Her family is around her. They don't want that extra stress anymore. They've been seeing her go through this over the years. So I see both sides of it. Both sides,
Yeah.
have a right and both sides did a wrong. And this is how it had to happen. It was better to happen this way
Right.
because everybody's going to walk off with a learning experience. Hopefully, everybody's going to walk off and learn something. They're going to know how to deal next time. You
Right.
know, and if they don't walk off and learn nothing from it, then that's their prerogative. But at the end of the day, this happened for a reason, and we won't never really know the full truth, but we can talk on what we do know, and that's how I see that. I don't know if Wsir want to say anything.
Well, yeah, I want to say something. What's causing the division in Rastafari? That division is not just within Rastafari. That division is among in black people all over.
Hmm.
And in the Caribbean, where you have a majority African people, because I mean, days go by, you don't see a European in the Caribbean. Maybe if you step out, you go somewhere, you might see one or two. But it's more African people in these islands, and we're not getting along. So you can see there's a problem, and that
Same
has a
thing
lot
on
to
the
do,
continent.
yeah,
Same
that
thing
has a lot
in
to
Africa.
do with capitalism and scarcity. You know, scarcity of resources, scarcity of ideas, and everyone stepping over each other, trying to reach the perceived top. You know? And this is what we suffer from in the Caribbean. A lot of real strong, competitive energy, you know, and our solution is coming together. So we have fed into the centric experience of that inside competition, where it's supposed to be inside cooperation, outside competition. So we keep competing amongst ourselves, and we're not seeing the big picture. We don't own land. A lot of us in the Caribbean, we don't own land. You know? A lot of us, our appetites are Eurocentric appetites. A lot of us, especially the youth now, the youth are liking more things you buy in the supermarket than things you buy in the market. Um,
Mhm.
the tourists provide the way that the farmers can exchange their produce for money. Okay, so the most of the farmers, their average age in Saint Lucia is 60 years old. That's the average age of a farmer in Saint Lucia, 60. So you can see the youth are not looking towards farming at all. So then now the school system, the school system supposed to see what areas. Now that's the thing about the Caribbean. Maybe it's like that all over. That because of the two-party system, that politicians look to scoring political mileage than to invest in things that they would not benefit from within their short lifespan, political lifespan.
Mhm.
So you have them not investing in things of
You.
longevity.
All right, y'all. We got a call. All right, y'all. We got a call in. We got a call in. Hold on. Let me make sure I got. Let me make sure I got this right so you can hear. So he can hear. Bless up, caller. Who's calling in? Yeah, I think we can hear you, my G. What's up? Yes, Big Brother Congo. How you doing, my G? Yeah, quick black check. Shit, that's proper. That's proper. That's proper. Right, 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 right. That's real proper. That's
So
real proper. Where you calling from, Big Brother Congo?
I am calling from the hot and humid state of Ohio.
Ha! Bless up in Ohio, my G. Any shout, anybody, any love, any love shout outs you want to give out? You want to give to?
Love shout out who I want to give to. I want to give a love shout out to all black people and just tell them to love themselves and let's do better.
My man. All right, my G. Anything else you want to? Anything else you want to add on?
No, just keep on building. I appreciate the work. Do your thing, brother.
All right, my G. Bless up.
Bless up, man.
Ja.
Yes, sir.
Selassie. Yes. Anybody who would like to call in, who would like to weigh in, please call in and weigh into the conversation. You are listening to the Quick Black Chat. I am your host, Kushite Selassie. You see my co-host, the king and queen are here. Please weigh into the conversation. This is Quick Black Chat. This is a Quick Black Chat. And we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. Right quick. Hopefully y'all can hear it. Wait for it.
With the lovely
Mimi's Natural Pantry.
Now tell me about yourself, Miss Kushite Selassie channel. I'm covering the Spring Fest.
Hold on, wrong one.
Hello, this is Kushite Selassie at the Kushite Selassie channel. I'm covering the Spring Fest. I am here with the lovely
Mimi's Natural Pantry.
Now tell me about yourself, Miss Mimi.
Okay, light soap is an old-fashioned soap that was used back in the old days by our grandparents and ancestors. They used cream, lye, and water to make their own soap. Of course, they couldn't buy soap, so they had to make their own soap. And this soap is
Now tell me about yourself, Miss Mimi.
okay, light soap is an old-fashioned soap that was used back in the old days by our grandparents and ancestors. They used cream, lye, and water to make their own soap. Of course, they couldn't buy soap, so they had to make their own soap. And this soap is
Okay, I can't find the right clip. Okay, but the ad is for Mimi's Natural Pantry. She makes Lysol. You can look her up on her website. Same name, Mimi's Natural Pantry, all one word, mimisnaturalpantry.com. She makes Lysol in wonderful scents. And she also makes preservatives, which is a very, very delicious jam. I not too long ago finished the rest of it off with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. When I say that is real good jam, I mean real good jam. Smuckers ain't got crap on her. I mean really, that is really good jam. I mean off the chain. Please, she ships all across the United States, all in anywhere the U.S. got them planted their flag. She mails to. Please, Mimi's Natural Pantry. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Rasta Hut's Caribbean Escape Restaurant. If you're around the PD area, it is on 512 S Main Street, Marion, South Carolina, 29571. Yes. If you want good Caribbean food, please stop there for a nice Caribbean retreat. They also make good veggie patties if you can catch them. They make very good veggie patties. They are very delicious. I don't know how vegan they are or how healthy they actually are, but they taste very good and there's no meat in it. So win-win. So anyway, and I'd also like to give one more shout out to Lioness Films and Photography. Yes, the Empress does her thing. If you need any photography or film work done, please hit her up on Facebook by the same name, Lioness Films and Photography. This is The court. This is Quick Black Check. I am your host, Kushite Selassie. Please feel free to donate to the Kushite Selassie channel to make sure we get better reception. We are being blessed with very good reception right now. I'm not sure how good it's gonna be, how good it's gonna stay, but it is so far the vibe is going very well. And so please, to make sure that it stays this way, to make sure I get better reception, please donate $1 to God Beetle to Cash App God Beetle to donate to the Kushite Selassie channel. Yes. You are listening to Quick Black Chat. All right, y'all. Where we want to take the conversation next?
Well, we can speak of the education system. The education system we all go through, and what needs to change and what needs to be added, what things we need to remind the upcoming generation about, what aspects of our history.
All right. Now, quick question then. With that being in mind, if let's say if we for the people who are still for the black people who still trust the school the public who still want to have their faith in the school system in the public school system, would you say adding sex ed back to the high school classes is now needed?
And sex education,
Yes, because for a long time there was a law debate to take sex ed out of the high school, which I never understood why that made sense. Sex ed with puberty hitting, that is when I understand sex is supposed to be taught to at the house, but I was actually for sex ed for kids at high school. Because a lot of parents were so conservative that they wouldn't talk to their kids. Then motherfuckers having babies left and right, left and right, left and right because everybody was scared of a condom because all that. You be surprised the crazy crap they used to say about condoms, especially religious people. They used to make you seem like if you use a condom, you going to hell or something like that, or if you masturbate, you going to hell or something like that. Like so, in high school, I understood what sex ed was necessary, but this crap that they're trying to add on preschool is downright ridiculous. So I'm just saying, should sex ed be re-examined now?
Yes, because now their sex ed is including anal sex,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not telling you that you can catch AIDS from anal sex.
Right. See what I mean?
Penetration in the anus goes straight into your bloodstream.
well, I didn't hear about that. Well, these things, because of we are more African people, the Caribbean will reject a lot of these things. So, the islands will reject a lot of
See
those
what
things.
I mean?
Yeah, we'll reject a lot of those things. Those things won't be taught out because we are conservative, a conservative
Not
people.
anymore, because in
Conservative people.
Jamaica, a girl going with girl is not under the closet anymore.
Yeah, well, it happens in the Caribbean. It's slowly happening in the Caribbean, but to happen, it to be institutionalized, that will be
It's
a
going to
hard.
happen in the next 10 years.
It's inevitable. It is inevitable, you know. And so our political leaders, they can be bought. So it's inevitable.
Yeah, most definitely.
Mhm.
But now they're trying to teach it in school as young as 5 years old, letting them know that it's okay to be with a boy. No way. Mm-mm.
Mm.
Well, COVID-19 showed us that everything can be done online.
Mm-hmm.
So we can have different persons teaching different classes online.
For future references, let's call it the jab, because they might go. We mentioned the name, they might kick it. YouTube might get rid of the video. So for future references, we're gonna call it the jab.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, but
so
the jab is even worse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we can do it all. We can do it online, so we don't even really have to think of a building, a physical building, because it can all happen online. Just get the right set of people together.
Right.
Mhm. Because we all face the same problem on the continent, in the diaspora, and that problem has a lot to do with um, self-identity,
Hmm.
you know, and an awareness of your past.
That's the white supremacists.
Yeah, because we are unaware of our past and our history and what is needed right now. Because that's the clock. History provides your experience on a time, like a time schedule.
Hmm.
You know your history, so you'll know how long you've been going astray. So it's been a long time that we've been trotting that path, thinking that it leads to redemption, but we've knowing that we're on the wrong path.
Hmm. But how was the reasoning with you and Priest Isaac?
It was okay. It was a nice reason, man. It was good. Yeah, we got some points, although they had a lot more I wanted to express, but it was okay.
Hmm.
I had a good night time. I had a good time. I love to reason. I had a good time.
So y'all gonna do a next part?
Well, I guess if he contacts me for another part, we can have another part. But that's what the Rastafari should be really looking into now, the education. How do we raise up more Rastafari? Do we raise them as Christians or do we raise them as Africans?
See, that's the decision we gotta make and be serious about it. We can't play both ends.
Right. Should we? Should there be some kind of? I say there should just be a school. There should be. I want to say there should be some kind of diverse teaching method, but like they do, like how let's for example how the white people do it when it comes down to how the, this whole how they treat the whole one nation under God under God type thing when it came to like different forms of people because they argued over that, and I'm not talking about different people of different religion. I'm talking about Christians argued over that one nation under God's thing. Like it was a debate on the between Christians because Protestants didn't want it said that way. Then other people didn't want to say it that way. People from this division didn't say it that way. So there was some kind of you know some kind of agreement to like what we should do. Is that even possible from to have to roster from a biblical mindset and those who aren't from a biblical mindset? Is there some way to create some kind of dual curriculum for our children that satisfies the mind of both children, of both that would excuse me, I'm getting my words tangled up. A curriculum that would satisfy and benefit the children from both camps or from parents of both minds of those separate mindsets, if
But
what
you
I'm
see,
saying makes sense.
when you have a school, when you have school, the school system is a remake of our original system of the liberal arts.
Hmm.
Well, these liberal arts form the basic foundation of our education systems. Things like geography, mathematics, you know, music, you know. So, uh, taught from an Afrocentric level because we are, I mean, we are people of rhythm. So we have to put in a lot of music and a lot of color in our teachings for the students. So there's a whole different, but this requires people who are learned and people that read extensively. Because I can suggest some books that should be taken up as textbooks for teaching. Um, Tilika Kilimanjaro has some good lineup of books that would be excellent for teaching. You know, different, past scholars even like um, Franz Fanon. You can use Franz Fanon to do a um, how they call it, the SBA on these books. So all these things can be put in the curriculum to get about a more holistic teaching experience and learning experience so people can be more centered in their identity. Because what you have, just like in Africa, when you go to school, you learn of a European's experience in the world.
Hmm.
Your experience remains voiceless and unexpressed, and you think that you're having new experiences in your life, but whereas it's a collective experience, not an individualistic experience. We all are experiencing the same, living in a world that wrote us out of history, and we can only express ourselves through another person's paradigm. So, in teaching our children, our African culture and history, it requires it requires people who are really learned, and that's something that is not too common in Rastafari. We tend to have a lot of biblical races, but we don't have many philosophical and intellectual races.
Mm. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
schooling has more to do with that intellectual aspect than uh, abstract, immaterial that comes in maybe art and music. So these are the things we have to think of in our decision to have schools as Rastafari. It cannot be dogmatic schools where we make up things and we throw in a lot of superstition into that.
Exactly.
You know.
Hmm. It's the Sankofa experience that's missing.
Yes, and before I speak of it in my journal, I went through the initiation for the children, what things they need to learn, how to care for their body, how to make tinctures and natural products, um, self-defense, drumming or dancing, music, then naming ceremonies, all these things that would kind of bring the community together.
Hmm.
Because that's one thing we witnessed that disappeared in the Caribbean, the town halls or the community centers. You know,
Yeah.
before before the political leaders were chosen from the communities where they had community centers and they would have outstanding persons in the community. But right now, it really depends on if you have money to run the political game, you know. And then you throw a few blocos, give some people some chicken and rum, give them a nice time, and buy your way into politics.
Hmm.
So this is what really is happening, but it has to do with the system we follow.
Facts.
Yeah.
So it's hard for us to escape that system. So
Hmm.
we have to do a lot of research and come up with ideas on how to teach the youth these realities. And at the same time, we don't want the youth to become fanatics. Because in on my island, there were two races that went into a church, set fire, killed a priest, and killed a nun, and started to catch people of fire. You know, so we don't want fanatics.
Wow. What
Yeah.
happened to him?
Well, the two races, they in jail. I think they gave them life. Yeah, I think they gave them life, and they were inside there, and they did a interview. They interviewed them not too long ago, and the guys are happy. They said they did the right thing, and there were voices telling them to do it. But these are things we don't condone in Rastafari. That you would physically attack persons for their belief. That's one thing that was never practiced in Africa. Religious intolerance. Only the Arabs and these people came with that, and the Christians, religious intolerance. Mhm. But the first representative of that, I would say, would be um, Akhenaten, Amenhotep IV, who practiced religious intolerance.
Yeah, that's proper. That's proper.
So a lot of things plague us in the Western world. A little divisive because we unite under banners of division. We unite under political banners of division and under religious banners of division. You know, but historicity is what unites the people. Language, philosophy, history, culture. That's where what really unites people. And governments do invest in these things that unite the people. They invest in the things that divide the people.
Yes, 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 yes. I would like to also let our viewers know that later on tonight on the late night ghetto we will be playing nothing but midnight. Yes, it will be the midnight hour. We'll be playing nothing but straight midnight songs on this night tonight on the late night ghetto. You are now tuned in to Quick Black Chat. I am your host Kushite Selassie. We're here with the elder from White Lotus Temple, and we're discussing how to better the Rastafari community. Anybody who wants to call in and give the shout outs or anything like that, please do. The number is on the screen. The number is also on the screen. Please. And to give our host a break right quick, we're gonna try and play a quick song right quick to give our guests a break, to give them time to gather their thoughts, get a drink of water if they need to. Yes, because I like the way the vibes going, and I like the fact that I know how to work this system a little bit now. So yes, yes, yes. Hold on right quick. Hold on, wait, wrong button. Yes, we're gonna play this. We're gonna play this quick song. We're gonna play this quick song, "Hush Child" by James Cherokee. Okay, hold on. Ha. Okay. Aha. Okay. Still learning. Still learning. Still learning.
Are you playing the song now?
Oh, y'all can't hear it?
No, it's very low.
Ah, crap. Hold on.
I was wondering.
So wait, y'all can't hear it?
No, not at all.
Darn.
But I see your playlist on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why you should be able to hear it.
Or maybe because it's on the screen, it's not letting us hear it. So only you hear it.
Yeah, I hear it on my end because I'm playing I'm playing it on the screen. But hold on, let me try redoing this again. Well, my honored guest, while we work on that, we're gonna.
Languages
David said
have
that.
sayings and proverbs. No, our ancestors were not defeated. With a simple no, our ancestors were not defeated. They just stopped fighting. They changed. A lot of people come to my page and ask, with all the intelligence and technology that ancient Africa had, how come our ancestors lost the battle? Today, I'm here to answer that question with a simple no. Our ancestors were not defeated. They just stopped fighting. They changed strategy because if they would have continued to fight, none of us would be here. Our ancestors are people who lived studying the stars and nature. And through studying the universal cycles, they knew that leaving your descendants intrinsic genetic wealth is 1,001 times better than leaving your descendants material, superficial wealth. They knew that the legacy of material wealth vanishes with time, but genetic memories, genetic skills, genetic wisdom, genetic talents, genetic excellence lives forever. Where is proof of this, you may ask? 100% of African languages have sayings and proverbs that do not exist in colonial languages because they were secrets meant only for the descendants. For example, there's a saying in Nilotic Luo that goes, Raura tone tek. In Bantu Agikuyu, this same saying goes, Kigwoya, Kiaino Keire, Nina, Gekekima. This same saying in the English language will translate to, it's not easy for a coward to die. A coward always goes back to the mother alive. When you study the world wars, you realize that while Europe was busy engaging in the technology of eating, sleeping, mating, and mostly defending, ancient Africa never believed in constructing of artificial devices for temporary artificial convenience at the expense of nature. Ancient Africa was mainly developing towards spirituality. The pyramid had gold on top for the balancing of the earth's chakra. Ancient African universities mainly taught people consciousness and ascensions to other dimensions. While Africans were busy building the pyramids, Europe was busy building ammunitions and nuclear bombs. So when Africans couldn't fight guns using bows and arrows, a new strategy had to be developed. They knew if they taught their descendants reverse psychology, tough love, and hid secrets in their vernacular languages and their fabrics, their descendants would remain docile, hibernate like the concept of seed dormancy, and survive until it was safe, because the coward always survives. When you read the story of Moses in the Bible or watch the video as it has been portrayed in Beyonce's song Other Side, you will realize that our ancestors put us in a basket of forgetfulness and dropped us in the cruel currents of reverse psychology, self-hate, gaslight, inferiority complex, mental health, just so we could survive, because the other side is now. The battle was never lost.
Some powerful stuff, yo.
Hmm.
I said that was powerful.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We still can't hear it. It's only playing on your side, it seems like.
Okay, but okay then we're not gonna worry about it then. We'll let it play. We'll let it play somewhere later on late night ghetto. But back to the conversation as it is, my people. How to better and improve the Rastafari movement. Yes, and the fact that our elders was playing the long game. How can we benefit from the long game that they've already that they excuse me, that they set in place? How can we now build from that long game?
Well, we need to go deeper into our African history and world and attain our African worldview. And that will leave a lot of leeway, which you don't have in Christianity. To leave you a lot of leeway to study and practice different things. A whole new world will open to you, because you'll be no more in the box of the Abrahamic religion.
Facts.
So that's the one of the main things. Some people may say, well, that has to do with the abstract thinking, but it starts with the thinking. It starts with the thoughts of Rastafari. Because if you use the Bible as a guide, it will only have you in expectation of this revelation it speaks about. Whereas you are the one to bring about that heaven on earth, like the Kinetti you did by putting down cosmic design on earth. That's what we were meant to do. But because we misinterpret the book, we go about falling victims to the same confusion within the book. So we end up just following and expecting. But what the Abraham relations. That's what the Abraham relations do. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look into Africa, then your whole experience changes. You have so much knowledge right now to grasp that it's just a continual process of learning, and that will make you sharper because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and if we want to win over the people's minds, that is the real struggle to win over the people's minds. So that means we need to learn more, be open to more information, and know how to express it. If not, Rastafari soon will die out. Yeah, Rastafari will soon die out if not, because the youth gravitate more to the Western way of living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So we need to try to bring them back. So how can we bring them back? We cannot teach them individualism, and the world is already the product of that whole system they set up religiously, educationally, but it's all intertwined. Christianity was the forerunner of capitalism to bring about individualism. One man, one vote, each man for himself and God for us all. So it's embedded in there. In pre-colonial Black Africa by Diop, Diop states the individualism of Europe and how it was totally different from the collectivism of Africa. So as this um, philosophy runs the world right now of capitalism, a lot of good things are useless. Whereas just after slavery, we had such brilliant minds like Martin Delany, like Douglas, like Blyden, you know, all these great minds that were coming up just after slavery. So that means slavery, we still conquered, we were still seeking the knowledge, you know, we were still looking to Africa. But after that, something happened. Something happened.
And David said he's trying to call, but I think either it's busy or it's
Oh
not
crap! Tell
connecting
him to
or
call
something
again.
like that.
My bad. I had a speaker on because I was checking a lot. I was checking how the stream was going to make sure if people could hear it or not. Crap. My fault. Tell him to call again.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
My
guess.
bad, David.
yeah, so something happened within that time that there's this great disunity, between men and women, between men, between women, a great disunity. And it's deep because we were stronger before, after slavery. So I think it really has to do with the consumerism and the whole capitalistic system of individuality.
Hmm. Yeah, it's definitely the mind of the people.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's definitely the mind of the people. We have to know as a race of people what to do. We can discuss the solutions, but there's still an action that got to step forward for the solutions to even exist.
Right. True. Because in the Caribbean, we have to make up our mind what we're going to be doing.
Hmm.
So we have a vision have to be longer than 5 years. We have to see the next 100 years. But because of the political system, we can only see 5 years at a time. You know? And it's about and a lot of political victimization. So this year, this term, this party wins. So these set of people eat the bread. They lose, and next set of people eat the bread. They fire those that were there and give a next set of bread. And this is how the Caribbean works. A two-party system thing. So it's like it's but when they say divide and rule, it's real,
Hmm.
and still we cannot see in the 100 years down the line how will we be? Will there be any land left? Because right now CIP, we have CIP program. Yeah, so right now we have CIP programs where they sell land for foreigners. Yeah, and because of um, our poor economy, that our people do not have the finances to purchase land. The foreigners can just come and buy up all the land in the Caribbean. But then again, we don't have any resources because the Caribbean was really an experiment. We never packed our bags and came into the Caribbean. We were forced here and we came here to work hard, first mining for gold and then planting sugarcane, cotton. So we trying to make this work and trying to think that this piece, that fragment, we we can take it as a whole, and it's just a fragment. So we suffer in that identity crisis that brings about a lot of confusion, being these little islands in the sea. And we take the New York City mindset and we try and live that out in the Caribbean. So it's a psychological battle. And if we look at it like that, less than you're a ball head and I'm a Rasta man. If we watch it as a psychological battle, you know, then we'll approach it differently.
Hmm. Yes, we won't see it in our generation, in our lifetime. That doesn't mean it won't happen. Unfortunately, it looks like we might not see it. You know, we may
Yeah,
see we
yeah, agree.
this beginning structures of it, but to see it how see the past of what our ancestors have accomplished, it's going to take a few more centuries, or decades to get it right. You see,
Yeah,
because now we're coming to the realization. that we have wasted the last 100 years. You know, we should have had these. We should have had certain things set in place by now. That's what I'm just saying. Because when you look at other nations, they have certain things set in place. If you look back at 100 years ago, where they were, they have accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
Chinese, Indian, you name it. So we're supposed to see that within our own culture. You know, our Rastafari movement, whatever we want to label it. We should be able to see some reaping what we sowed. You know, we shouldn't be so 100 years behind.
Yeah, well, it's the religiosity of it all that kept us behind. Some of us we die because of that religiosity. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, some of us we die because of that. We go up in the hills and we get pneumonia. We eat a lot of poor food. You know,
Hmm.
so a lot of our experience for me is about the African rediscovering himself. You know,
Exactly.
and it hasn't stopped. It's something that's
Gonna
continuing.
keep, yeah, that will keep going
Yeah,
because people are always trying to wake up and evolve and enlighten themselves. You know,
right.
some
So,
people some people like to hold on to the slave syndrome. Some people recognize it and say, no, I want to live like that because all it's doing is creating generational patterns. You know, that we seem to can't break.
mhm.
Some people don't think that it's a pattern; they think that that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, now that's the thing, because to live it, you must first be able to imagine it. You know? So we will become as great as we imagine our greatness to be.
Hmm.
Now that's the power of your history. Your history can only give you that projection, that self projection. You know, but without that historical inspiration, you don't have much self projection. And we really need to be the greatest that we've ever been before to overcome the hurdles of the 21st century. We have to rise to a level, a real great level, and none of us are prepared to make the sacrifices for that.
Mm-mm. Sure isn't. Sure
because
isn't.
because there's nothing that we're lacking. When you really think of it, we don't lack anything. One
Mm-mm.
thing we really lack is the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it goes all back to the mind and the thinking.
Yes, changing that old slave way of thinking.
Yeah.
It keeps manifesting itself. It doesn't just
That
go away.
old southern justice.
Yeah,
Hello, y'all. We got a caller. Bless up, bless up, bless up.
that might be David trying to get through.
Rastafari King.
Selassie, Nana Kwame, my homie from Ghana. Bless up.
My king.
Yo, man, how you feel? Like, I'm glad you called in, my G. How do you feel that we can better the Rastafari community?
Yeah man. As me tell you, right about, it's about organize and centralize.
Hmm.
Right, right, right. That's
That's the
all.
Yeah man.
economic.
So that's
Yeah
all we
man.
need. Just need to come. We just need to come together. Elaborate a little bit.
Yeah man, because I know you can see we are organized as a group,
Mm,
as an organization.
mm-hmm.
So we need to sit on the table
as wise men to centralize.
That's what's
No
up. That's
difference
what's up.
between Bobo, no difference between Naya Bingi, no difference between Judah Coptic, no difference between Ethiopian Orthodox. You know, we just bring wise mind together.
Right. Do y'all have something like that in Ghana?
You said?
Do y'all have something like that in Ghana?
Can't hear you.
Do y'all have something like that in Ghana where all Rastafari organizations come together and just sit down?
Yeah, man, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, because it's really, it's really a confusion in Rastafari when we talk about theology now. So the elders, the wise mind elders, are trying to bring all the organizations together, to reason together, and leave all these differences aside.
Now that's what's up. That's what's up. See how our brothers doing it on the continent?
You said?
No, I was just bigging up how y'all doing it on the continent, my G.
Yeah, man. It's not easy coming from a perspective of an open mind in Rastafari where me not deal with this biblical understanding. So truly, my friends here don't view me as Rastafari because me not biblical. Truly, me I tell you this. Truly from your heart.
Uh-huh.
But this biblical understanding, Rasta. You see this biblical understanding? We need to put that aside now.
That's what I'm talking about, my G. Bless up. What part of Ghana are you calling from, my G?
You said?
I said, what part of Ghana are you calling from?
Yeah, King, now I'm in the eastern region. Me tell you, I want to leave the cities. So I'm in the eastern part of Ghana now, in the mountainous areas.
Bless up.
Yeah, man.
All right, my G. Anybody you want to give a shout out to while you on?
Big up Nana Kwame.
Yeah, man. My brother from
bless and love to Nana
Central
Kwame.
and Maat.
Yes. My guest gave you a shout out, my G.
Yeah, Rastafari.
No,
man.
Yes, my G.
Rastafari. Bless and love and gratitude.
And me senior brethren from Antigua. Ras Eisten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ras
and
Eisten.
yourself. Lich Tafari. Yahuda.
Ja.
Rastafari.
Selassie.
Yeah, man, we can't forget Immanifest Kadus.
Yes, I big up Immanifest.
Yeah, man, that brethren are good brethren. Immanifest Kadus.
Ja.
Yeah, man, blessed love.
All right, my G. Bless up. I'm going to talk to you later, my G.
Rastafari.
Selassie.
Eyes.
Ja. Yes. That was Nana Kwame from calling all the way from Ghana. Respect, my G. Respect my spec.
Right, that was cool.
Big brother Congo, if you want to call back in, please call in, please.
So
Hold on, wait. Somebody else. Like somebody else trying to call. Hold on, my fault, y'all.
Probably David might be trying to get in. No, he probably was busy just now.
So we had to keep up the reading and we had to start writing as Rastafari to inspire the upcoming ones. Because the youths are seeking it.
Yeah, give them something to read.
But the internet has information, but There's no one to decipher the information for the youth. The youth can follow anything they see on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So we need ones that can point to the literature, can teach the youths of the African history and the culture,
Yes.
because a lot of races they're biblical, but they're not African races.
Yeah, because they're looking at it from a Judeo point of view.
And the Judeo-centric point of view is more individualistic salvation. So some may be races and they're contented with their own salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right, that's where they find their
Yeah,
safe haven, you know.
yeah. But when you know led, you know now you have to teach.
Hold on, y'all. We got to call in. We got to call in.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, caller.
This is Lex. I just want to give a shout out to the channel.
Bless up, bless up, bless up. Thank you, Queen.
Okay.
All right, then. Peace and love.
Big up
Yeah,
on
that's proper. That's proper.
it's, so in America it's much more in fact in the modern world it's difficult to homeschool because both parents sometimes need to make an income.
Yeah, but they do have a lot of homeschool programs, especially in New York City,
Oh,
or or they're small, like I said, private school, homeschool type of thing where it's black operated. They have them scattered out throughout the United States. It's just not broad like going to public school. That's the only difference. We just have pockets of people doing it. It's not
mhm.
full. And with the pockets, you're missing so much of so much other people missing out on it.
Okay, I know what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
as long as there's a European curriculum in any school system, whether it's America, Africa, the Caribbean, they're not getting the fullness. The British is, or the French or the Spanish is running the curriculum system for the Americas and the diaspora in general. So
Yeah, well
I'm seeing it like we're all still getting the same British education, or or the same European curriculum. We're still getting that, even in Ghana. They have a British curriculum in some of their schools.
now that is why Pan-Africanism is so important. For that dynamic to change, Africa must have a greater say in the world. For that dynamic to change, that English is the number one language and we have to learn English literature, English history, and European customs. For that to change, Africa must be a strong continent. So we cannot hope
Hmm.
for that to change unless we rebrand Africa and become the evidence of that change we want to see.
Yeah, exactly. That's where the infrastructure comes in at.
Yeah,
And
organizations before,
the different
because
organizations come together and get those type of granting and funding to do these things,
because
because
for a good,
they'll give to a council or organization before they just give to one individual. You know,
uh,
so with all the different connections come under one umbrella to get the infrastructure going, because it's good to have those backups.
For a good while in Rastafari, a lot of brethren were against organizations. It was about natural living. But then His Majesty said organize and centralize, and which has proven to be a really hard thing to do because the basis of the unity was based on this concept of Haile Selassie, but it had to be a concept that is broader than Rastafari itself, but relates to all African people. That's why there's the Ethiopian World Federation
Hmm.
as a tool to unite African people. But that tool, I think, was neglected by Rastafari, and different mansions came up. You know. But the original organization set up by the king is the Ethiopian World Federation. And in
Hmm.
those bylaws, it says that it's an organization designed only and strictly for African people. And there's um, how you say it, an oath of secrecy. And you don't all have to have the same name of a divinity as long as you honor a deity. That's all that's needed.
Right.
And Rasis took over really the Ethiopian World Federation because they alone were really showing interest. And then it became kind of another Rastafari mansion, but it was not meant to be. You know. And I think it's a good tool that we can still use, but it has to be um, on a levels that it doesn't chase away persons that are non-Rastafari, persons that are not Christian.
Hmm.
So that's just one aspect in Rastafari I think that we should look into because it's a organization that's set up through the years, although they've been going through their ups and downs. But the blueprint of that organization is a good blueprint.
Hmm.
And it could be a good tool for unity.
Exactly.
Mm.
And I
Right.
think we need to start looking into more trade skills and those different things as well, because that helps with the economics, that helps with the infrastructure. One's having knowledge in electrician or plumbing, carpentry. We're kind of like doing away with those trades nowadays. Everybody is just trying to get a degree, a degree, a degree. But when it comes to those hands-on skills, we're losing that.
Yeah, a handyman. Where
Mhm.
not
The
all our
hands-on,
welders?
right? We need skills that you can never go out of work, because somebody always
Bro,
gonna have an
Rosses used to
electrician
be
job.
kings of welding.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's good money in that trade as well. In these trades, you can make good money in these trades.
So when it all right, let's talk about these trades. Let's talk about a trade that you think most rosters would be getting into, but we actually don't have a control over. Not on where well yes, I'm gonna touch on this first. Our merchandise. Most Rastafari merchandise or most things that have our colors that that they geared to the market that's supposed to be geared towards us basically. Yeah, we don't have any control over that. A lot of it has a nice little stamp on it that says made in China, made in Korea, made in Japan. Stuff or made in Persia, some stuff like that, or something like that. Some Middle Eastern country or no, some shit like that. And also when it comes down to the thing that we've been persecuted for the longest, marijuana. You can see in Jamaica where a lot of the marijuana companies are not run by black people. Rastas, not even Rastas alone. I mean black people in general. All these Europeans come in and they're running the marijuana. They're basically handling the marijuana market. And here lies the underlying question I'm trying to get to. With the fact that we know that whatever the white man gets their hand on, they bastardize. I mean, for real, they fucked up water, they fucked up earth, they excuse me, Elder, I don't mean to curse too much. But they anything they've got their hands on to try to sell, they've destroyed in some way where they have to sell so many versions of it so that they can make a profit off of it.
Mm-hmm.
With the fact that marijuana is now being legalized and now everybody got their hands on it because it's a big money making money. Marijuana has always been that cash crop. And with the fact that a lot of marijuana in the shops may not be good for us. Is it more important now than ever to get back to growing for Rasta to get back to growing their own marijuana and get out these shops?
Well, a lot
De-
of ones are growing their own marijuana.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
yeah, definitely,
they
definitely,
still doing it, brethren.
definitely. Because in Saint Lucia, we have the foreign seeds that the plants bear in no time, like what 6 weeks, in 2 months or 3 months. But before, when we had our mostly our local seeds, it would take longer than that, and the weed was different. We get in the kind of herb we get in these days is like hybrid, you know.
mm-hmm.
So they have a different feel to them. Um, they don't give you that calmness, you know. Sometimes they send you to sleep. So
Sleep nothing.
you
I mean comas. That is not sleep. That is a coma.
know, so it's best you grow because it's all about capitalism and profit. It has little to do with health. It has nothing to do with health and the spiritual or health benefits. It more has to do with making the most you can make out of it. You know, it's just like growing vegetables. The faster it will grow, just like an animals as well. The fast they'll inject it to grow quickly, and they'll have the pesticides and all these things just to save time and to save labor. So that will happen with marijuana as well. That you'll be getting hard weed, but it's not balanced. You know, there's not enough. They're raising the THC, but it's not balanced with the CBD. All this will cause problems, in the youth, the upcoming youth. So the better we can
get our seeds, hold them, recycle them, plant them. That would be the best thing. It's just now the seeds will be
This
getting ready hybrid seeds.
this ties into why we need more botanists. And while we're
Yeah,
speaking of botanists
most
and
definitely.
herbalists, shout outs to Natural Medicines News and Gardening. Homie is a living example of living and eating out his own garden. He can feed a family of four with all the herbs and plants in his backyard. He can feed a family of four. Yes,
He's
that
in
is
South
a living
Carolina.
testament. Yes, he is. He lives right down the road from my mom. That's a living
Mm,
testament. Hopefully I can get hope I'm trying to get him for an interview now. I'm trying to get a date set for me. It's not him. He's waiting on me. I'm so busy trying to get his connection down straight and trying to figure all this out.
right.
But once I get him on there, it's gonna be a real big video where I'm gonna be using his clips of his garden, and then I'm gonna sit down with him and have him talk about how he started, sorry, how he started, and how he got his garden straight and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna chop it up real nice.
Well, in the Caribbean, it's easy. It's easy to have a garden because we have land there. But what's happening, like for instance, where I am right before where I was living, I had a garden. And, I used to plant my herb and everything. But then I moved into a apartment building. It's concrete. But it definitely we need to plant more.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's very important. And it's very the feeling of it's a beautiful feeling. Farming is amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. Farming is real good.
Yeah,
Like I
man.
said, shout outs to Natural Medicines News and Gardening. Yes, please go to his Facebook channel so we can. Didn't mean to post that. Please.
That came out of nowhere, huh?
Nah, I was trying to click something else, but then I clicked on that on person. But while it's there, yes, death to all pedophiles. But yeah, burn them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but all right.
that'd be a good interview for him to talk about his garden experiences.
Yes, yes. And the way he broke it down to me was just great. I mean, really, I never knew a carrot. I never knew the veggie part of a carrot will taste like a carrot.
Hmm.
Like literally, we was out there in this garden, just tasting the leaves, just tasting the leaves of the plants. The blueberry plant tastes just like a blueberry. I mean, I don't even have to taste the fruit part. I'm chewing leaves and it tastes just like a blueberry. I'm like, this is blowing my mind. This made me really want to. This If more people got out into the garden and did this, we more people be inclined to eat differently
Hmm.
because that was just the greatest experience to me. Oh, I can't wait to get Homeboy on the show.
I
Hope
know.
we didn't lose the elder. Hope we didn't lose the elder.
I think we did. He might be trying to get in.
And for those who was waiting, and for those who was looking forward to the mighty Hebrew, through technical difficulties, we had to postpone the show and postpone Taste of Africa. But please, we will see it again. We will have it again. It will be an experience, and he will. And the next time he's on there, he will talk about the some of the great foods he had in Africa, and also he has a PowerPoint. Yes, a PowerPoint that would break down pedophilia to the core. Yes, yes. The mighty Hebrew. Yes, 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 yes. That'll be next time. That'll be next time on the show. The date will be posted as soon as we confirm it. It will be posted. So please stay tuned. and like, share, and subscribe so you can be in tune for that show. This is Quick Black Chat. And please remember to donate $1 to the God to Cash App God Beetle to donate to the Kushite Selassie channel to make sure we can get better internet and make sure we get a powerful stream and keep a flow like this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh crap. Hey Nikes, I think I just found my radio voice.
Right? It sounds like you're reading from a script, but I know you're not.
For real though. Oh
That just
crap.
came
While
out
I'm
with a
here,
nice flow on you, huh?
for real though. Oh
Yeah,
snap.
that's what you got to use then. That's your what they call it, a skit, right? It's your skit.
Right. Right. Yes, for anybody else who's still watching who would like to weigh in or give a shout out, please call in at 843-954-2724 if you want to weigh into the podcast and weigh in on the discussion. We're gonna keep it going for probably a little while longer. Then we're gonna Nikes, what time you think I should start late night ghetto? For the time, I always kind of debated what what hour I should start the show late night ghetto. Cause shouldn't it be like late night with a name like that? Like what, 10, 11, 12, something like that? I mean, it's late night ghetto.
Yeah, between 10 and 12. That's late night. Or anytime
Yeah,
after
yeah.
9. Or between 9 and midnight. Unless you want to do like that 1, 2 a.m. type of radio. Wait, now you're probably going to target more international ears because they're in a different time zone. So you
Yeah.
could change it up. You can do 11 o'clock, you can do 1 a.m. It just depends how you feel.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Sounds like I'm echoing back again.
Not on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm going to call it a night because I have to get up early tomorrow.
Alright, then I guess we'll end the stream then. Shout out to the elder from White Lotus Temple for weighing in. Shout out to Nuggets. Shout out to Nuggets for putting together a nice backup show for tonight. And I'd like to thank all my guests, all my calling guests, all my call-ins. Please feel free to call in again, and later on we will be getting ready for the late night ghetto. This has been Quick Black Chat with Kushite Selassie. Bless up, y'all.
Blessed love. Blessed love.